What's happening? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of So I Was in This House. I'm your host, Everett Lapel, and I'm here with my good friend and comrade and amigo, Felipe Grego. Phil Grego. Phil
What's
Grego.
up, people? What's up? What's up? What's up, Ev? Good to see you.
The OG. Let me just want to start out by saying thank you for everybody reaching out to me for the for anybody that didn't hear. I was selected for the Service World Expo. I was one of like 4 podcasters in the country to get selected for this thing. So it was actually like an incredible honor. I couldn't even believe this thing. Year and a half in the making, and here we are. We're going to be representing the #1 trade show in like the country. So really excited about that. What else, Phil? What are you so upset about, dude?
Well, I'm not upset. I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
I'm just kidding. Hey, Phil.
I'm actually super excited for you. That's great news on the Service Expo. Congratulations. I know I congratulated you before, but publicly, congratulations. Great work. I remember when you first started it. It's come a long, long way, and you're doing a great job, and I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been interesting. There have been times actually where like like at first it was just so much fun, like just to tell stories and everything else, right? And it was really cool to hear everybody's stories, right? And then all of a sudden, as like things started like moving along, it started to get like people started to reach out to me like in like a very commercialized way, where it was really just like hey, you should talk to so-and-so because so-and-so can talk about their, because they're so used to the way that like podcasts are mostly like paid content now. Like you're just doing a podcast, and like a lot of them are just people talking about the products that they sell. And I think that there's a place for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, learning about new things in the industry, but it got to the point like today, I got like 3 emails from like PR people who were like, hey, have you talked to so-and-so? It's AI. It's like, she really fit in. And so I was in this house. I can tell by her storytelling ability, and she's the CEO of blah, blah, blah company and whatever else. And it's like, it's cool. I mean, it's flattering in a way, but because they somehow have found me, but it's also just baloney. It's just a way for them to get on podcasts. They could talk about what they do. And I mean, if you think about it, though, ready? So I thought about this. You're flipping through cable. You're flipping through the old TV channels, even going back to the 80s, 90s. And what do you see? You see that like channel where you just flip through, and it's literally, it looks like you're watching like a talk show, and it's really just advertising a product. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It was like the late night infomercials.
Yeah. And it would just be like, it'd be like, it looked just like an exercise show. I'd be like, oh, by the way, let me show you this one exercise machine. It's called the Bowflex. And it's like, it's pretty crazy. Like you'd have like this whole gym. And now if you scroll through the menus, like if you actually watch television anymore, which periodically I like to do, not often, but the menu will say like, it'll say paid content, or it'll say like, it'll say like sponsored content. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of fun. So in the last, so I have done a couple of like really cool, interesting episodes on like the AI front and just what's happening in the trades and whatnot. And what are you seeing out there, man? Like, I'd be interested, like what's like the new thing now that everybody, like what's happening in the world of HVAC service and sales that's like, different than when you started, let's say.
I mean, the big thing now is everybody wants to record you and record, the old Rilla, which is not really new, but it's like a new thing, I guess. And it's just, it's super annoying, and it's an invasion of everybody's privacy, and, that's the way I feel about it. Most guys feel the same way about it.
Yeah, there's some states where you have to actually disclose that you're recording something. And some states you don't.
Even if you're not disclosing it, states that you don't have to when you're walking into a house and most people are, I don't know how I would feel about that. Somebody's walking in my house and I know they're recording. Like,
Mm.
how's that gonna make you feel, right?
You
You're in
know,
my house, you're recording. It's a little slimy, and maybe people think of it like that. Maybe they don't. I've never asked a homeowner. But I mean, that's like the newest thing out there is that Rilla thing. I mean, you know
yeah,
all about it,
they're
I'm
taking
sure.
over, man. They got
Yeah.
integrations into everything. It's interesting. We had a conversation with Helmy, who came on, who owns a
Hmm.
company, Guaranteed Service in New Jersey, and
Yeah.
he talked about it as being like business changing for him, and it just
Yeah.
like and has helped him. I guess it's all in how you use the tools, right? Because actually I had 2 episodes kind of in a row talking about AI, and I have literally since embraced using like Chat GPT for just like certain things because it's just kind of like quick and does things that like I want to do in an organized fashion. It's actually pretty cool, but I'm not having it created. I'm creating it and then I'm putting it into it and then it spits it back out to me and says, "Hey, this is a little more organized."
Yeah. I'm all about, the AI and tools to help you. It's just that invasion of your privacy. If you forget to record that, forget to, hit the end record button, you get back in your truck and your wife calls you and you're having a private conversation, that thing's picking it up and there's no way to, go back and not record it, or,
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird, or a lot weird. Um,
I never thought
but
about that. One thing that I find odd or okay, so like people, companies in general want to like secure themselves. They always have, right? Like even going back 15 years ago, 10 years ago, putting cameras in the trucks and trying to watch everything and making sure
yeah,
that everything, right? So it's like this is not a new concept trying to be like on top of employees. What I find really interesting is um like let's say because the point of let's say Rilla or one of these softwares is to condense the information of the conversation that you had, put a summary in there, right? And then the
mhm,
summary spits out like these things. And if you didn't hit these like points, it says, hey, you didn't hit this point here, you didn't touch on this, you missed this. But what I find very interesting is that and I've seen this now with real world experience that sometimes the more human conversation where there's more emotional intelligence involved, where there's less like because AI can't figure out like intonation. It can't figure out
there's
intent.
no
Like if you
right.
ask a poignant question at a certain time, AI does not have the ability to know why you asked that question. You might have asked that question for a response in that moment because you could sense that that was something that that particular person wanted to hear at that moment, or that they weren't saying something, right? Like there was something they weren't saying, and you could kind of
Correct.
tell that. Then you took that initiative and did that. And so it can't detect that. It's only detecting the dialogue, and the dialogue, this is very interesting because all sales training for literally since going back till like the dawn of sales training, it's like 70% appearance and how you look while you're saying what you are saying, 20% of how you are saying it, and only 10% of it is actually the words that you are saying. And so I don't know, but if I'm, if I don't know if they'll ever figure that out. Like, I don't know if AI will figure out, like, oh, this was the
I
intent of
mean,
somebody's conversation.
I I think it's going to keep improving and getting better and better and better. But I mean, you nailed it, right? It's one of the things that sometimes it shows up on my stuff. It's like, you know, kind of gave a long-winded answer or didn't address the objection right away. Well, you don't want to, if sales 101 is you don't address the objection right away, because when you do that, there's just another one right behind it. It's a defense mechanism. You need to, yeah, okay, that's fine, and roll it off and just keep going and,
Mm.
circle back and come address it later. I mean, there's stuff that you have to address right away, but there's a lot that's just, yeah, we're not doing anything today. Yeah, okay, no problem. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to tackle that right there? You're not, you know, but there's stupid stuff like that. But, you know, you're reminding me of, you know, a few things that I've been seeing on social media and certain pages of certain people saying, you know, certain things that
Like
it's like,
what?
dude, like, give you an example. You know, oh, you, of course you can't make a decision because I haven't given you enough information for you to make a decision. Who the fuck talks like that? Nobody, right? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you
Yeah.
serious? Like, that's just like, what? Did this guy really just say that? I mean, just think about it. It's like, did you just really say that?
Mm,
Like, I don't know. It's like, you know,
mm.
it's like you're teaching people to talk like that. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, well you're weak because like, dude, just stop. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Like, are
Well,
you
you
are you
know what's
serious?
funny?
If
You know
you
what's
have a
funny?
guy in your house right now trying to sell you a window or sell you whatever it is that you need for your house, and he says, "Well, Everett, I know you can't make a decision because I haven't given you enough information about this window for you to make an educated decision."
Right.
And you're miraculously going to say, "Well, yeah, you're right. Tell me more." No, I want to get you the fuck out of my house, is what
Mm,
you're thinking, right?
yeah. Yeah, you know what, yo, dude, you know what's so funny is I want everybody that's listening to know that like Phil is literally a top like half percent sales rep in the country. Like he's not saying these things because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like the funny part about it is like no one does $5 million in sales a year. No one. So it's interesting from you, right? That your style, right, is a little different than some of these people who need to learn like these processes and say things in a robotic way because they don't have the emotional intelligence, they don't have the wherewithal, right? So I think that's really who those tools were really designed for. My question would be this: would a tool like an AI tool or any sort of, you know, wouldn't it be best for you and your success to kind of let you do what you do, right? Like that would probably be my thought would be let him do what he does, right? I'm not saying there's no room for improvement. There's 100% room for always learning. And I know you're always learning. You're always teaching yourself things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if the numbers are up or down. Like I wonder if all the advancements and the reviews of the calls and everything, I wonder if it has helped you and it reveals things or it has not.
I mean, honestly, I'll answer this in a different way. So, company I'm currently at, they implemented this Rilla thing, and one of the big, you know, higher ups in the company did a ride along with me, and he was asking me how I felt about Rilla, and I told him exactly what I told you. You know, it's envision privacy. I don't like it. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Well, you know, can you see how it could help? You know, maybe management or this or that." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. You know, for like a newer guy. And to your point, like what you were saying before, you know, there has to be a process. There has to be uh, certain steps that you gotta kind of go through. But you don't want to be robotic. You know, that's what you don't want to be, right? So, you know, there's certain things that people say, well, if you do it this way, you do it that way, you're going to be successful, you're going to do this or you're going to do that. But when you're robotic and you're not yourself, it just doesn't work. You know, there was a person that I think you may know him. I don't want to mention any names because I don't know if he'll like me mentioning his name, but he's, you know, once they implemented it, he's a good guy and he's a good rep and he does really well. But he was so worried about saying and hitting the words that Rilla would want you to hit that
It
it
distracted him.
was 100%.
Yeah.
And it was just not working for him. And, you know, I told him, I said, dude, I said, just hit the record button, put it in your pocket and forget about it. Just do you. Like, it doesn't matter if you get a 7 out of 7.
Did he see an uptick in production after he was just like went back to being himself?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I
So
get it. I
he,
totally get it from an oversight perspective, especially with people who are in training and everything else. It's very interesting for industry veterans. You know, I think it's a lot different than back in the day when people were like, oh man, I got to input all my stuff in the CRM. You know, like when it went from like just pen and paper into the CRM. Like, I wonder if it's the same sort of thing. I mean, it seems like it's a little bit more, it's a lot more invasive, right? It's a lot more invasive. Yeah.
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 I mean,
So
so that guy went from being, you know, not doing so well to doing really well. And he, you know, still knows he has to say certain things and hit certain points, but he's just more relaxed. And one of the things that I actually realized as you were saying something before, you were saying about how advertisement has changed. You were saying how, you know, people don't watch TV anymore. Radio's pretty much dead. Podcast is the new radio, right? There's all these big changes, and the way the customer buys is also very different. And if you're stuck in 2000 or 1995, then you know you're stuck.
yeah, so that's a very different conversation, right? Like
Yeah.
now we're not talking about forward thinking stuff. Now we're saying we're taking the principles of old stuff, right? And we're trying to apply them into the world today. And does it work? I mean, some of it works. The core of it works.
Well, right. I mean, take advertisement, right? If you podcast, people come on there to plug their stuff and, you know, get a follow, blow up my stuff. I'm gonna reach more audience. Yeah, that's radio. That's what radio did before, which is the new podcast, right? But if you're looking at it like, you know, how many influencers do you have on social media? Right? That's the new advertising. These people, like, you know, radio and or TV is still there, but there's a lot of TV that, you know, maybe like older generations. I know my kids don't watch TV.
I know.
Your kids watch TV?
I'll push back on you though. Like if I want my customer to be like, you know, a senior citizen with money, I'm going to advertise on TV.
100%.
Because they're still watching TV. I'm going to put it on during whatever they watch, whether it's CNN or Fox News or MSNBC. I don't care. Put all of it. Yeah, I want all of it. I don't care.
You got to put it on the you know, on the CNN prime time or on the Fox prime time.
Yeah, so
100%.
It's become so spread thin, right? Like the just in general trying to, and there's sophisticated outfits now doing this, right? Whereas like it was just a bunch of mom and pop shops for years and years, right? And maybe some sophisticated outfits, and then all of a sudden, like here we are, and we have all these, you know, PE backed companies and all these large sophisticated companies that are all, you know, bidding for this, you know, for your attention, right? I'll push back on that. I'll say that you go, I would imagine making yourself more human. And there's some companies that are doing this where I hear them advertising like, hey, we have no virtual support. Everything is live human beings. So we understand what you're saying. And look, I think for a lot of companies like the AI, like voice systems and stuff like that, they're really, really good tool for somebody who can't be in 5 places at the same time, right? Somebody who needs help after hours. Like, I think there's a space for all of that, right? But I think that the people that makes their experience the most human and gets people to stop Googling everything while they're in a service. Oh, what did you say is wrong? A capacitor? Oh, right here. It's only $50. Why is it $300? Like, well, did you go to trade school to learn how to put it in?
Yeah, and
did you?
John DePasquale on one of the last episodes that he was on with you brought that up, and you know he said he had What, he had a lawyer and she was like chat
Like
GBT and
chat
another
GPT and everything he
AI.
was saying. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
she had
but like
like
this
all
is
the,
the
but
world we
people
live
do
in.
that. Correct.
But okay, but you remember way back in the day, people would go, like trainers would go, listen, when you're in a call with people, okay, tell them, hey, listen, your time's important, my time's important. If you want, just while I'm here, while we go over through everything, it's a lot of money. Why don't we put our phones on silent? This way we're not interrupted the whole time. I feel like you would offend somebody now trying to say that. I don't think you can't. I think you can still say it. I think you can still do it. But I think that you have to be very careful about how you do that, right? But the problem is now you're finding people who literally, like, you've been doing this 15, 20 years. You find people that sit there and they Google it and they think that somehow they can YouTube it. Bro, I have a friend in Denver. He got something happened with his HVAC system. So he decided he's not handy at all. It took him 4 days to figure out how to rewire a low voltage wire and to change a capacitor and a contactor. And for those that don't know anything about HVAC, it doesn't matter. Those are very minor things, right? And long story short, he literally took him 4 days. He slept in the heat. He could have just paid the contractor under whatever $1,000 and had it done. Instead,
Yeah.
he took 4 days to do this install, and it's like, or not install. He literally just fixed it. He just took an old unit and just put new parts in it. But this is what people are doing now because there's a lot of information available, and you just got to kind of know, like, I'm not an expert mechanic. Like, I can't work on. I don't work on cars. I don't know how to do it. Right. That's why I pay somebody to work on the car. Or I get my friend Richard, who knows how to work on cars, and Richard works on my car.
Right. And that's, that homeowner that wants to do it himself. I mean, let him do it himself. I mean, it kind of is what it is. But
Well, what
I
you're
literally, I
seeing more
literally
and more and
had,
more of that.
I literally had a customer, um, just the other day that was just like, I'm doing this myself, and it's working, and I'm not doing anything, and the old me 10 years ago would have jumped into a whole bunch of other stuff. And, I was just like, yeah, all right, no problem. Like, whatever you want to do, like you want to do it great. You don't want to do it great. And, fast forward and, the guy ended up purchasing a system, but it was like, dude, you called me out here because you need my help. Like, I drove here, got in a car, drove to your house. I'm here. And you're going to tell me, of course, you're going to tell me all the reasons why you don't want to do it. That's what you're supposed to do. But I mean, like, I'm also not going to force you to buy anything that you don't want to. You want to buy it, you buy it. You don't want to buy it, that's okay. We're still
Right.
friends at the end of the
People
day.
want to buy things. They don't want to be sold. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
dude, he bought. It was like wild. I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. Like,
yeah. So what? Okay. On this note, on Rilla, on all the stuff, on the sales training stuff, right? We're talking about new school stuff. We're talking about old school stuff. But like, I was thinking about like, everybody's talks about these gurus, and all these small companies get swallowed up by these gurus, these guys that come in and they know so much, right? And they come in and they sold their business to like, another business, and they made all this money, right? And so now they come in and they charge you, $100,000-$200,000 a year, or however long, it is
for some of them per training.
Yeah, per training, right? And I think it's very, very interesting. You have any thoughts on that? I mean, I don't, you don't have to say
I mean,
specifics, but
I mean, I think it's, you say, hey, my name is Bob, and I've sold my company to private equity, and I have a program, and I can show you how to do it, and I'm going to charge you $100,000. I'll coach you for a month and your sales team. And, a lot of these owners are in, and, it's their money, it's their business. They could do whatever. But I mean, I think that's like the new thing in the industry. It's just like,
do you think it works?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I have such a strong opinion on that, if it works or if it doesn't work. I think that, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're just, just help the customer and do the right thing for the customer. And if they need something, help them. And if they don't, just tell them they don't.
Yeah. So
And,
like,
and everybody puts their head at night and goes to sleep and everybody's happy. And guess what, man? That customer is going to call you back. We're going to say the name of the show again. I was in this house just the other day, right? It was a young girl. She had just moved in. They booked a call. I go out there. Well, guess who shows up, right? Her uncle shows up. And I'm
let me guess, he was an engineer and he knew everything.
I didn't get that far into it with them because they didn't really need anything. The system was 9 years old or 8 years old. It was still under warranty. And I looked at the tag of the equipment and I'm like, this equipment's still under warranty. Like, I mean, if you want to replace it, we'll replace it, but it's working fine, right? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay. So like, oh, we thought it was older. Okay. And now, going into the Everett mind a little bit, because I know how the Everett mind works a little bit, and I'll do a little Everett. Was it really a call, or was it just a setup, right? So like, you don't know, right? Was it like one of those things where, hey, we're going to call you out here and it's a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old system? Are you going to be that scumbag that's going to tell me I need to replace it? Or are you going to be honest? I'm going to be honest every single time, but it's just crazy, to think about that you can be set up like
you're
that,
saying because I have such a paranoid mind that I was like, is this a setup here? Is somebody like watching like me to make sure that I do all the right things? But I always have that mindset. So like,
I know you do.
Yeah. Sam Wakefield, by the way, is an incredible sales trainer. He says the creepy uncle. Sam and I are actually cut from a very similar cloth. You'd like him a lot, Phil. He actually did an episode probably a couple months ago. But all right, nice. So you're there, you're in this house. The uncle's there, he comes by, you're like, look, it's 8 years old. Okay, now you start digging a little bit further. You're like, okay, what's up?
Yeah, I was like, if you guys want to replace it, I'm more than happy to go over some options with you. If you're, if you're not looking to replace it, you're not looking to replace it. Yeah. And they were like, no, thank you so much. Thanks for being honest.
So you think somebody told them that it was an older system than it was, and then they decided to go out there and get bids. Okay. So
yeah, I think that's what happened. Somebody else was there, maybe another company, maybe
you
not
really
another
need
company.
To, replace your system over here. This thing's pretty old, Yeah. It's like, how much longer is it gonna last,
Right. And that's that homeowner that, I feel like you always just got to be honest, man. You just got to make a good impression with people. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be awesome, like, maybe I would have walked out with the order, maybe I wouldn't. But if I did, would I be able to sleep right at night now when I did that and lied to them? I wouldn't do that.
Let me flip the script on you. Let me flip the script on you. Ready?
Sure.
So you can go, look, did they just move in? The woman just moved in?
Yeah, it was a young girl.
Okay, great. So it's like, look, here's the deal. It works fine. Everything's good. It's under warranty. Definitely not have to replace it. Now, for comfort reasons or for any other reasons, efficiency reasons, if you want to look at something, I'd certainly go ahead and quote this unit for you. And I would say it that way and leave it up to them. And listen.
That's what I did. That's exactly what I did.
And they were just not in a position. They were like, yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, if it's still under warranty and it's new, I thought it was old and blah, blah, blah. So, let me show you, you take a picture of the tag and the years there. And so I feel like that's a homeowner that we have a customer for life, right? Be it me, be it the next guy that's going to go there, whatever. You need to take care of the customer, but you got to do the right thing by the customer and you got to do the right thing by the business, because if you burn a customer, you're going to burn the business as well. And there's a guy I used to work for a long time ago, and he says, we have a good thing and we have a good cow, and the cow keeps giving us milk, and we're all happy. But once that cow runs dry, we're all not happy because we don't have any milk. So the cow is the business, and we need to keep that cow nice and fat and giving us all milk, and we need to take care of that cow, which means we got to take care of that customer the right way.
Yeah, I'm going to say, and real quick. So Sam says, I have a feeling Everett Lapel, Doug Wyatt, and Sam Wakefield conversation in the works. Yeah, I'll have all three of us on. We'll have a great conversation. Just so you guys know, Phil right now he's an exceptional sales rep. I mean, 5 million is like impossible in the industry, and he's going to do it this year. I mean, you're going to do more than that, probably 6, right? You're at like 4.6 now. It's going to be a great year for you, dude. I mean, I'm so proud of you. I mean, you're doing amazing things, but here's the takeaway though, guys. People in this industry are paying amazing money, right? To like learn from people and learn these procedures and processes. And one of the things that Phil really does well, and what he's trying to say is stay superhuman and understand your customer, do the right thing. Like all the simple things, the easy, tiny little things that you just don't think about. So I'm reading a book right now. It's called Unfuck Yourself. You know the name of this book? Yeah, I'm reading this book.
I don't know that book, but I like it. It's
called like How to Unfuck Yourself. It's actually like a really good book, right? And so yeah, like we and this is really a hot topic for me, dude, because we get so bogged down with like all these tools and these things and the all the stuff and the distractions. And bro, you know what's so like, it's like, how do I get like from point A to point B? Because that's what the business does. The business does this and gets this product into the hand of this customer, and that customer's smiley, and then this customer makes more customers, and then they're smiley, and then I put more product in those customers' houses, everybody's smiling. And that's like the simplicity of it, right? And there's like all sorts of hundreds of steps inside there. But like the problem is that we literally are so lost in so many tools and so many things, shiny objects, and we're chasing shiny objects. And it's like, bro, what is Phil saying? Like, dude, have a conversation, bro. Like, yeah, help somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's there's a guy we both love. His name is Russell, and and he would always say this, and it's so true. Telling isn't selling, and it's you could tell somebody all you want, and you could repeat whatever is on a script, but you're telling them, right? You're not selling them. It's very, very different. You ask the questions, they will tell you what they want. They will tell you how they buy. You just got to ask the questions. Just have a conversation with somebody.
Hey,
it could be that simple.
I don't want to interrupt you. I have an amazing sponsor, Cooper and Hunter. They've been incredible. They have a reel here. We're going to watch it.
Cooper and Hunter's new peak unit runs efficiently up to 19 SEER 2 with BTU capacity that ranges between 18 to 55,000 for indoor and outdoor units. Compared to a traditional gas furnace, Peak's revolutionary design is ready to step in without a hassle thanks to its adaptive multi-voltage. True high-performance hyper units provide a 100% heating output at negative 13 degrees. Looking inside the unit, the new M-Coil is highly efficient and provides a better airflow that reflects in a higher static pressure. Our Smart Kit is included, giving you access to control your device from the comfort of your phone. Peak stands for Powerful, Efficient, Auto Voltage Detection, and Quiet. To learn more, visit our website or talk to your local distributor. Cooper and Hunter, addicted to comfort.
Cool. Yeah. So, this is interesting. There we go. We're back. And
those Cooper Hunters, those mini splits are really cool looking.
Yeah, they're cool, man. They've they've been making a really big push in the industry. And they've been a really cool sponsor, and I'm, super happy to have them as a sponsor. And the New York Yankees and the Florida Panthers actually won the Stanley Cup. Sam Wakefield says, love this mindset. We are there to shear the sheep, not skin them. When we shear them, it's good for the sheep and good for the company. Then they come back for more.
That's right. 100%.
Yes, Allison Bankos actually really likes the book. Yes, I'm in the middle of it. I'm really enjoying it. Phil, you got any new stories? So I was in this house. All right, let's hear one.
I was in this house, and I wasn't in the house, and I was in the house again, and then I wasn't in the house. And then, yeah, it was kind of wild. So this woman was just absolutely insane. Anyway, I sold her a system a long time ago. She had just bought the house also. She went back and forth between me and somebody else, and a zillion and 5 questions and all this other stuff, whatever. We put in a system. She was super happy. Oh my gosh, you're so professional. Your company did such a great job. Blah, 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 blah. So fast forward to this year, okay? I was there before it got hot, okay? Now, we do duct work, but in the summer, we're not doing duct work, especially in an attic. So I told her this when I was there. I said, look, we'll swap out the air handler. I know you want the duct work done. If you want to get it done, we got to do it now. This is maybe, I don't know, February, March. She doesn't do anything. Fast forward, it's like July, June, July. She calls me. She wants to move forward with the job. I said, great. I said, we'll do the job, but we can't do the duct work. If you want us to do the duct work, we'll come back in September, October when it cools off. We'll come back and we'll do the duct work. Okay, yeah, no problem. So set up a crew. We get on the job. First thing in the morning, these guys are blowing up my phone. Okay. Dude, you gave me a job with duct work? I was like, what? They're like, yeah, this woman's like wondering where the duct work is. I said, what job are you at? They were like, oh, so-and-so. I was like, oh, well, there's no duct work. It's like, no, she's flipping out. There's duct work. And we went up in the attic. There's nothing. Everything's been ripped out. There's like nothing there. I was like, what do you mean there's nothing there? She's like, I don't know. I was like, I'll call you back. I called a homeowner, and she's like, oh yeah, I had it all taken care of. I thought it'd be easier for you guys to come in. I said, well, there's no duct work. What are we supposed to hook up the air handler to? Oh, well, yeah, you guys are already here. I thought you guys could just do it. I was like, no, it doesn't really work that way. Well, yeah, I think you guys could do it. And, when you guys are done with that, I want you to do some duct work also in my basement for the other system. I was like, no, like, this is not how this works. Like, we charge you a price for the air handler, not for the air handler and the duct work. And I don't have the time to do that. I can't, like, that's like a week's worth of work to do.
So you didn't charge her for it? It wasn't charged for? Okay.
No,
yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So long story short, I'm getting nowhere with this woman. And she's like, well, I got to talk to my husband. And I'm like, listen, I got a crew sitting in your house. It's 8:00 in the morning. Like, I got to get these guys out of there, put them on another job. Like, I don't have much time. And I'm in another house with another homeowner trying to get another thing going on. I pulled the crew. I said, this is not happening. If it's happening, it's not happening today. Like, just pack up. We're going to put you on another job. Long story short, she calls me. She's blowing up my phone. She goes, your guys left. I said, yeah. She says, well, what am I supposed to do now? I was like, what do you mean? Like, you don't have ductwork. I was like, why don't you just tell me what really happened? She goes, well, you know, you gave me that quote and I kind of shopped around and I got like a cheaper number, and these other people came in and they were going to do the job, and then, you know, like they just weren't professional, and then they just walked off the job. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so they walked
yeah.
off.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, like you are just like something else. Like I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like if you want us to do the doctor, oh, I'm gonna find somebody else that'll do the. I was like, great, you know, like fire the customer, man. This woman was just something
So
else. She was
what'd you do? Did
incredible.
you refund her? Did you refund her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yo, you know what? My brain didn't go that direction, dude. My
Yep.
brain went, my brain went, you know what? I literally would have been like, great. I would have worked up the ductwork right then and there and said, get 2 plenums, a bunch of flex, call it a day. That's it. 2 plenums, bunch of flex. That's what you get. That's the entire state of Texas anyway. Ask Sam. Sam knows. Sam says beautiful, by the way. He loves that you fired the customer. He thinks it's really funny.
I mean, she was something, man.
Okay.
I mean, and I had dealt with her a year before, you know, on a different system, and she was just, you know, just not an easy person. But, you know, you know, people are people and whatever, but man, you know, like I didn't charge you for it. Now you want me to put in 4 or 5 days worth of work to do duct work, and we're supposed to source the equipment or the duct work at 8 o'clock in the morning while the guys are on site like that. Just, yeah, well, when you're done with that, do the basement one too. What?
So I was in this house. This
Yeah.
was actually this last year, like probably less than 6 months ago. And we're gonna call this lady, I don't know, Katie. Okay, we're gonna call her Katie. All right. So I'm in this house and I walk in, and immediately she like kind of just comes right at me. And you know, I called her Miss, and then her last name, we'll say Smith. I said, hi, Miss Smith. And she looked at me and she goes, it's Mrs. It's Mrs. Just because my husband's dead does not mean that I'm not a Mrs.
Ooh.
I said, okay. Ooh. So I'm like, all right, looks like I'm going to have to tread carefully here. So I go through some things. I'm doing everything. Looks like we can come, you know, I saw that there was definitely like mentally she was definitely stuck. And I'm, you know, like just rolling through things over and over again in her head. You can tell when somebody's like stuck. And, but then we go to sit down and like do all the paperwork, which is not really paper anymore. It's all digital. Right. And the next thing, you know, I mean, she is crying her eyes out and going through this entire story of her whole life and how she has lost every single person that she ever cared about. And then she was going to talking about long lost cousins that died in strange accidents. And she talked about her husband and the entire process of her husband dying, all this stuff. It was lunacy. And I actually, in that moment, I had to be like her therapist. And I said, hey, I'm like, when I left, and I'm like, hey, Mrs. Smith, I need you to start moving the train in the right direction here. I need you to start thinking positive thoughts like all the time. And I really want you to focus on the good things that you have in life and, you know, moving forward into the future, because, you know, you've been saying a lot of things that have happened to you in the past. And I want you to really think about the future. And so she like looked at me, and I don't know if she was actually like prepared for it. When she cried, it seemed like she was crying like invoking like fear, invoking sadness, invoking these like thoughts. And like, it almost felt like cathartic in a way for her. And but then the madness started to ensue. And what ended up happening was I got a barrage of like text messages and calls over the next, like, because the project was sort of like there was a lot of movement. So it had to take a while. So she ended up actually texting me, I don't know, I can't even count the amount of times, and then like berating people, like other people involved with the project. And I got a landscaper involved that like was supposed to help her out with her, like do some stuff to make room for everything. I mean, like I was trying to help her. She had like other landscaping things that she needed done. I referred it over. Landscaper calls me. He's like, dude, I cannot work on this house. So, you know, sometimes you try to help people and, you know, they're just stuck. They're just, you know, they're just not there. So that was an interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that happens to you a lot though. Like this is like,
yeah, I have one of those faces. I have one of those faces.
Like I'm gonna cry on your shoulder and you need to help me. Like
at least 4 to 5 in my career. I think I have a really friendly face and people confide in me.
I feel like it's been more than that, man. I've definitely heard that story from you like multiple times on multiple.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, people just confide in me. And I actually had a woman actually tell me that she thought that I was so like, she was like, you are so easy to talk to. You are so simple to talk. I just love talking to you. And then she just broke down and cried. And then she wrote a check. It was like, literally, she was like, it's therapy for me. Sam asked, why 4 to 5 days for ductwork in an attic? Where the heck are you? Well, because Sam, in the great state of New Jersey, most things are hard pipe. The environments are very, very different, small, confined spaces. It is nothing like we have here in Texas, man. It's not even
tight. Yeah, attic was tight. And, you know, that's just what it takes. I mean, the guys, I agree with Sam. It should take less, but it is what it is. I mean, that's the amount of time they want us to give these guys to do the ductwork. But yeah,
Sam says sales is
Sam. I agree with you.
Sam says sales is 90% psychology and 10% order taking. Yes, I agree with that. Speaking of therapy, because on the first episode I asked the same question. I always ask the same question on every episode, but now we already know. Now we're going to ask a different question. The first question is, you know, what's one experience that lives with you? The reason why I want to do this podcast is get people's, you know, insight. Like, what's one experience that lives with you that you had in somebody's house that you take with you wherever you go? And you answer that. Now, if you have another one, then give it. Yeah. Otherwise, what I was going to say was, what's one experience that is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you inside of somebody else's house?
I mean, the craziest thing I shared on here in the first episode, which was that guy taking me in a creepy basement, like crawl basement, Yankee, whatever. And it was like a maze, and I like the back of my hair was standing up, and I felt like this guy was gonna like
murder you.
Mm-hmm.
You were his lunch.
Yeah, and yeah. I quickly turned around, walked out, and got in my car and left. And whatever happened. I don't know. I wasn't sneaking around to find out. But the ghost story, you know, in that one house, actually where Di Pasquale lives, right over there. That was a wild one. Nothing so wild, you know, has happened. I mean, there's been a couple instances where
funniest interaction.
Funniest interaction. I don't know. I really have funny stuff.
Oh, see, I'm putting you on the spot here. You can't even think.
Man.
You can't even think of anything.
I mean, like,
yeah.
funny.
I can think of the funniest interaction I ever had. There was this guy who I was at the very end of the sales process, and he agreed to do the job, but the whole time I was there, he kept incorrectly pronouncing the name of the company that I worked for, like over and over and over again. He would keep saying it backwards. So he would say it over and over and over again. So I worked for a company called, it doesn't matter if I say the name, it's public. It's called AJ Perry, and the guy kept saying AP Jerry. So instead of AJ Perry, he was saying AP Jerry, and in like a really thick accent. But it was funny because
this is my favorite story about it.
Yeah, it was funny because at the very end, you have to do this call. It's something called a verification call. It's done with a lot of companies. If there's a certain dollar amount that you purchase from that company, they just verify it over the phone. They record the call. It's kind of like a quality assurance call. And so he's on there. And one of the questions on there is, before we move further into the process here, would you like to include anybody else in this conversation, such as a family member, friend, or neighbor? And he says, oh. Like he didn't understand what was going on. and then he goes,
you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it.
And then he goes, so the woman goes, would you like to include anybody else in this conversation, a family member, friend, or neighbor? And he goes, oh, why do you want to talk to my neighbor? And so we got through it, and after, like, I couldn't turn to him because I had to turn the other way because I literally could not, like, my eye, like there was probably tears coming out of my ears. It was absolutely hilarious, and there's a lot of people in the chat that are laughing it up because they know.
I remember you calling me, and I remember you telling me the story.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, it's just happened. And I had tears coming out of my eyes.
Yeah.
Like it was, I think I've laughed for years with this story, Everett.
Yeah.
I mean,
I parked in a parking lot afterwards, and I called you, and I literally laughed for half an hour. I couldn't stop. I just had to I couldn't drive. I could not drive.
Why do you want to talk to my neighbor?
Yeah, so that was everywhere we went, we were just like, why do you want to talk to my neighbor? Yeah.
That was so funny. That was the best one of them all.
It was good. It was a fun experience. Well, Philbert, man, what else you got? Anything? Oh, before we go, I want to tell, there is a local Dallas Expo. I sit on the board of the Texas Air Conditioning Contractors Association for the North Texas chapter, and we're doing a Dallas Fort Worth convention from October 3rd, I believe it is. And it is in Dallas. It's at a convention center. It's called the HVAC Trailblazer event. And I'm going to post the link because I think it's important. We have tons of sponsors. There's classes, there's seminars, and it's just a one-day conference where we've already got Johnstone Supply involved. We have Lemon Seed Marketing, Cooper and Hunter, Go Time Success Group. I mean, there's a lot of people that are involved, and I'm actually gonna, if you guys are okay, I'm just gonna pull it up on the screen and just show you guys the website here. And those are listening on audio. It is what it is. But Service Nation's involved. Service Nation's involved. Can you see the screen? Yeah. Anyway, you can register here. It's hvactrailblazer.com. You can also text 817-214-6069 for updates. If you want to get involved, you can contact me. You can contact Brittany, who's the executive director. And I'm really excited about this event. I think it's going to be really great. So, oh, look at that. Sam's going to be there at the Trailblazer event. That's really cool. So that's it. I do have an episode coming up, guys, that is going to be really, really interesting. Next week, I'm doing an episode. They just announced and released the top 40 under 40 in the HVAC industry. AHR does a magazine, and once a year they get nominations, and they choose out of, like, I don't know, thousands of people. They choose like the top the top 40 people under 40 years old. Here's the crazy part about this, right? By happenstance, in the year that all these people won, I interviewed like 7 of them. And there's 40. So that's like a really high percentage. So we decided we are going to do a panel. We're just going to have everybody on, the 40 under 40. We're going to share information. We're going to talk. We're going to have a good time. And we're gonna learn something. I don't know. Maybe we won't learn anything, but yeah.
That's cool.
Phil, what else before we get out of here, man? What else? You got anything you want to share?
No, I think we're good.
I have one thing I want to ask, and I want to ask the audience, anybody that's left here. We have like 10 people. Listen, there was a post that came out today, and it said unpopular idea.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Unpopular idea. Make sure to charge your friends full price for if they ask you to do work for them. Yeah. And like not give them a discount and not hook them up or whatever. Now, where do you stand on this?
So I kind of see it on both ends. You know, I'm just the kind of guy that would like to help my friends and family and stuff like that. And there's guys that don't look at it like that. They're like, hey, let's make money on our friends. But, you know, then there's friends that are like, hey, I'll pay a little more to support my friend. And I'm one of those guys, right? I have no problem with spending a little more to help Everett or help Bob or help whoever. You know, so there's both sides that, you know, I can see it both ways, you know.
But if you're the business owner and somebody comes to you and goes, hey, Phil, I'm looking for an HVAC system, you know, I really want you to quote it or whatever, or, you know, can you help me out in some sort of way? They don't come out and ask you for a discount. Maybe they do, whatever. What do you do?
I'm gonna give you the best deal I can. We're still gonna be profitable. We're still gonna make, you know, the lowest margin that we can. And that's that. You know, I mean, if there's
you're not gonna charge full price. You're not.
Correct. We're not. I am not. I wouldn't feel right doing that.
I see. I'm in the same boat. And I get it. It's going to be an unpopular opinion. Well, you know, if they're really your friends, you know, you should charge them full price so that they could help you out. And that's like the other logic. But honestly, here's my thought. Right, I'm their friend. I do something now. I don't want a headache. Right. I'm their friend. I do a service that they potentially want or need, right? If I can't help them in some sort of way, like I don't know why. I wouldn't feel right. Like I don't feel, it's a weird conversation. They're like, come to me and I'm going to give you the same price that I give everybody else, but you and I have a personal, friendly relationship together. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying that my friend should be taking advantage of me. That's not what we're saying. Right. I'm not saying I'm not going to make any money. Right. I'm not going to say I make any money, but I like for somebody to think that you should do it at cost. Well, that's not good, right?
You shouldn't do it at cost.
You still have to operate a business. Right. Yeah.
You still got to operate a business. You still got to pay people. You still got to warranty it if something goes bad. You still got to do all these other things that you got to do. But, you know, you don't need to, you know, make full margin on them. You could make a little less or make the minimum margin. I guess every business has, you know, X amount of percentage that they deal with. And, you know, that's up to each individual business. But I agree with you, man. I personally, not something I would be comfortable with, you know.
Here's something else. This is something that I thought about anyway. I don't think I'm going to do the job anyway. I don't know.
You may not want to do a job, correct?
It depends. I may, because there is a level of like, don't like, you know what I mean? Like, don't mix family and business and stuff like that. But it really does 100%. Depend. Like if if it's just like, if I work for like a super reputable outfit or whatever, like, and I'm like 100% that they're going to be like on, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, of course, like, go ahead, like, do it. But like, I guess you got to be really careful, right? Like, not to, because then Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving or whatever is going to be really weird if something goes wrong. And then you're like, oops.
Well, right. But that's why you got to charge enough money and make the minimum margin on it. Because, the truth is you're going to do it for certain customers, and what you don't want to do is charge your friend more than you charged, that difficult customer that was just a pain and you did it just to make them go away.
I think a lot of people don't do it anymore. A lot of people, it just depends. I've heard so many philosophies now. Some people just give stuff away. Like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it, super cheap. And some people are like, no, this is my price and that's it. And if you don't want to pay it, then you don't have to pay it, period.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with that. I mean, the price is the price and, they don't have to do it, but I think there should be a little bit of a discount for your friends and your family.
Well, there you have it, folks. We got an answer. Phil, I love you, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. And see you next week on the panel. I'll post probably a little bit earlier. But seriously, man, thanks everybody in the chat. Really appreciate you guys. Sam, Jason Martinez said, I love those guys. Doug, Wyatt.
On, yeah. Allison's on, Jay's on.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people we know. So
feel better, Allison.
Feel better, Allison. Really appreciate you guys. All right. See you.
Cheers.